Trina all at the same time.
Wow.
And we are live, and welcome to another day in the Milky Way. Believe it or not, by gosh, we're all getting going late, on time, and all over the place. So be the frequency you want to receive. That's the way we do it around here. So
That's right.
Hey, Trina.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fantastic. How about you?
It's so great to see you again.
Yeah.
Hey, Trina, how are you?
How'd that party go? Jamming out?
I literally just got in the door 20 minutes ago.
Wow.
absolutely
so-
great.
Yeah, there was traffic jams. I was like, I didn't know if I was gonna make it. I was like, oh boy. So yeah.
We know you would be here regardless, so we ain't worried. By
Yep.
gosh, so everybody, don't worry. We got a good show tonight. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. We're going to catch up with Zig Zag Zilla, who's our special guest tonight. And of course, we got my lovely co-host, Miss Trina Phoenix. And in the dark on the other side there's Big Al, and he's trucking somewhere through what, Tennessee?
Heading to Nashville in about what? Hour and a half?
Hour and a half.
Well,
Hour and a half.
Right.
And
Happy mother trucking.
That's right. Just be safe. Just be safe. And we all got our focus on you, and you got your crystals and your pyramids, and you're good to go. And we got confidence. There you go. Marsha Price's crystals, pyramids there too. Yeah. Awesome.
They make everything
Awesome.
better.
And they do. They do. I suggest that everybody get something on that order. And she's got these wonderful if you can see these things, I'll blow them up. They're the rods of Ra. Look at that. Man, oh man. Now these are cool. You put these in your hands and you meditate or concentrate. I hold on to them a lot of times when I just doing the show. You don't see my hands down here. They're holding the thingamabobbers. So there you go. Anyway, that's the way it works. So tonight, we're going to talk about AI, I guess. And we're going to catch up with what you've been doing, Zig Zag. You've never been on my part of the show. You were on Brian's show a couple of times and, talked about all kinds of stuff. It was great. And then I've been trying to get you on for the longest time, and you're like moving and bebopping around. So give us an update of what you've been up to.
Well, I mean, I've been up to a lot, actually. You know what I'm saying? Like, you already know that I was in New York. I moved to North Carolina and whatnot, but I didn't even know that you had a show, actually. And Genevieve, I don't know if you know who she is, but she put me onto it. And I'm glad she put me onto it because, so far I've heard a few of the chats on the show and it resonates with me a lot. Is, just like, Milky Way, used to resonate with me a lot. So, I mean, as far as what I've been doing, man, I'm getting into the area of iridology. So, I'm very passionate about the human body. I've always been into the area of health, and it all started from like, at a younger age when I was like personal training and I was into the supplement industry and whatnot.
Oh, wow.
Where my life kind of took a big turn from like the biochemistry of things, and like now I'm going into the holistic area of things. But it's a fascinating tool that I know in future shows. I mean, if I can get back on this show in future time, I'll be 100% certified in it, and I'll get into more detail on that. But that's basically what I've been up to.
That's a wonderful practice.
Nice.
Yeah,
man, do I got like a million questions for you then?
You asked me a million questions, man.
Well, yeah, because I tell you what, I have, oh my God. Yeah, well, let's start out. I have the blood pressure cuff. I have lots and lots and lots and lots. That's one box of vitamins. Yeah. Here's my other box of vitamins. And then
man, I can tell you right now, we can make that a show in and of itself, because that's a complex topic where a lot of what we learn, we had to unlearn, you know what I'm saying? So that'll be a show in and of itself for future talk. So absolutely. I'm very well versed in that area too. So
oh yeah, because I take all kinds of stuff. I mean, I could make a list. I have the droppers. I mean, I got like vitamin D3 liquid. I have iodine. I have B12. I have the methylbolican kind. I have the, I take like beet juice. I have bio PQQ or whatever it is, and C something. Anyway, and a lot of vitamin C. a ton of that.
That area is very complex, so I would definitely like to get into that in a future show for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can even get into why that whole saying about health is wealth. You know what I'm saying? It goes really deep into why certain phrases we use are used, and as basically as far as to how it could even improve our mentalities toward our spirituality and whatnot. I mean, it's a very, very detailed, complex topic that I would love to get into in future videos.
Oh, heck yeah. We could do a whole series or something on, like, fasting is a really, people, Wayne has brought this up, and I've been doing it. And I know there's several other people in the show or in the comments and who talked about it, but they do fasting or intermittent fasting and things like that, so that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. That's powerful. That's powerful in and of itself, man. So absolutely. It goes into basically like even our let's say our chakra systems, which is basically the central nervous system, and the solar plexus, basically our sun. How we perceive our reality is based on the microbiome, the aura, which is also a cloud of bacteria. Goes into a lot of things, which definitely, I'm going to get, that's a big, long topic. And I know that's not what we planned, but I would definitely love to talk about that, man. It's real deep. I'm telling you, it's real deep.
That is so true. That is so true. So let's bring this all together, because this is going to sound really stupid and really petty of me. But we're going to study AI. You wanted to talk about AI, and I thought this is a great subject. So I watched The Matrix. How true is that? But it gave me a lot of thoughts because they put a lot of stuff in there. Right. And I got to thinking about, being in the Matrix and how it associates with our world today. We're always talking about the unseen world, what we can't see, and do we really live in the Matrix? And how is the Matrix associated with us? And how, even our operating system, our DNA and our gut flora and fauna. I know, who was it? I think it was somebody in the chat last week or the week after or before we were talking about something about the microorganisms inside you or something like that. And I says that, if those are all little microscopic, teeny tiny whatchamacallers, right? And they make us live. And that could be what affects us for our brain waves. Now just go with me, listen to this. This is kind of crazy. It's hard for me to explain. So if they're all thinkers and they can have their little, like your dog sees something or your cat sees something, they have that sixth sense. That's what I'm trying to get at. If you have millions and billions of them inside you and they all have a sixth sense, well, wouldn't they pass it on, because you're the host and they want you to survive? So, it's a symbiotic relationship. Can you speak on that?
Well, here's the thing. It's a body full of trillions of sentient cells. It's kind of like how we look at the earth. The earth is full of trillions of people. You know what I'm saying? And the trillions of people, let's say if the trillions of people are depending on God, let's say whatever that outside source may be, we can look at that analogy as basically we are God in this body. You get what I'm saying? But notice how certain decisions that we make, that we decide to feed into, that may stress us out, we actually release unfavorable chemicals in the body like cortisol. And that's it, exactly, poison to the body. So you're basically toxifying your body based on not realizing that you're participating in an illusion, but you can also, with your decision, decide to partake or not partake. Now, the reason I even got fascinated by the topic of AI was for that simple reason. You know what I'm saying? Like when through meditation, I've had certain levels of experience, you know what I'm saying? And these are experiences, you know, that it would lead me to think like I'm even gardening, just basically on something that I'm doing that's of passion, like gardening. I've came to a lot of realizations, connected a lot of dots, like even certain plants that you would see how they just kind of tilt toward the sun. And I start to look at that and I'm like, wow, man, that's got to be a certain level of intelligence going on there. Now, intelligence, that word could be looked at in many forms, just like many of the words we use can be looked at in many different ways, depending on how you actually use it. Like, for example, if I use the word right, I can say you have human rights, or I can say, hey, you're right on a conversation or a topic, or I can say I'm gonna make a right turn. So many different meanings that we can use for one word. Meanwhile, intelligence, consciousness, they all have different meanings. It's just we all get polarized to what one thing actually means based on what the programming of what it actually means. You know what I'm saying? I hope I made sense there. Mm-hmm. But, you know, like when you look at plants and they're leaning toward the sun, like, are they consciously doing that? Or is that just a certain level of intelligence that is leaning toward a certain light? For example, like your body, you can intellectually learn something where if I'm meditating and I'm listening to certain, you know, frequencies and whatnot, my body's made of water. You ever seen that resonance, little patterns that form whenever you put like your water on top of a speaker, or you put sand on top of a speaker, and certain patterns that get formed based on certain things? That's happening naturally. Just like my body, if I get sick, is going to activate a fever, my immune response turns on. I'm not turning on a button in my body doing it. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, there's things that we're not really controlling that are actually happening that are beyond our control, but they happen based on certain things that we've actually been doing in our life. You know what I mean? So when I look at the plants doing that, they're doing that. There's an intelligence, just like there's an intelligence in the body. There's things happening where you can make it harmonious or you can make it chaotic, but it's just all based on like you know what I'm saying? You as the consciousness. Well, we want to talk about what is consciousness, but it's just basically that's where does that come from? Where do your thoughts come from? Where all these things come from? There's a source that may not have any explicable explanation, but we talk about spirits, it's formless. We're in form right now, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know, when we talk about intelligence, like the military has informants, and we use that word informants, you know what I'm saying? Because they're informants giving you information. I also see the word form, where spirits, for example, I remember I watched one of the chats you had, and you were talking about spirits, do they have moods? It's basically, the spirits are basically us, you know what I'm saying? It's just our consciousness is trapped into this body, but you can basically transfer consciousness from one organism to another. That's why even people say, hey, can you put yourself in my shoes and see what I'm saying? It's for that reason. We could do that on a real deep level. It's just that those abilities got atrophied because we're so literally like concreted into this body. You know what I'm saying? Where if we were a little bit more fluid, a little bit more malleable, we can come in and out of body or consciousness. That's why they say, how far can your ideas and imagination go? Because it's all imagination. I remember you said one thing that stuck out to me, and you said, well, a spirit can just appear in one place and then go into another, but that's the power of our imagination. But it's just like, if I close my eyes, I can literally go into that space. But how lucid and how clear can I make that imagination? You know what I'm saying? That's our power. And since we don't use it enough, we don't know that it can actually be like us having an experience somewhere else. And it actually comes into this reality. That's why, you know, they say, oh, you visualize certain things and then it becomes your reality. Well, you as an antenna, where are your thoughts? You know what I'm saying? Where's your frequency and vibration? And then it's basically going to concrete into this reality through that little linear timeline. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever you're visualizing already happened and whatnot. But then there's that little timeline in between where it takes time. And in between that, that's where we get all those distractions and it deters us from where we're supposed to be at. You get what I'm saying? That's where meditation comes into play. That's why I remember I put it in one of the comments underneath when I was in the chat. When you meditate, breathing exercises, it strengthens that frontal cortex, the focus. So that's where it all kind of ties in together to actually help you in what you're trying to do. Sorry for the long rant, but you know, I just wanted to get through what I had to say on that part. But I don't know if you have anything.
That's absolutely what you're here for, to give out that long rant, because you got a lot to say. So, you know, and that's very important. And, you know, you're making a good point there. You know, getting that stuff out in your cortex and things going on there. And I got a question for you guys. This may kind of be off topic or not, I don't know, but has anybody been getting like a little bit on edge for like no reason at all. You know, I mean, I know I'm a really calm, solid person that's just like a rock. I flow like, you know, a calm, cool pond sitting there in the, you know, evening. And man, it seems like pretty much anything can just ripple me now. You know what I mean? Lately. I don't know if it's with everybody else, but just putting that out there.
You know, it's I think a lot of people are going that, but I wonder too if it's being experienced in pockets. And I wonder if it's frequency. Like what Zig Zag's talking about with how,
Yeah.
you know, our water is affected by frequencies. So that might be what you're looking at, Robert. You might want to look at some EMF protection on your body.
It could be. Yeah, I went for a long hike today and it made me feel a whole lot better. Went out in the middle of nowhere in some remote valley in Timbuktu land. You know?
You might want to buy a pendant or something and start wearing some stuff on your body, because if you balance to nature, that might be very well what's going on.
Yeah. Marsha Price, I need a pendant.
That's right.
Something that'll work for that.
Or 3.
Oh, gee, something's going on. Anyway, hey, I got a question. Well, anyway, before we get going too far. Oh, come on. Why is this? No. Okay. All things were going weird here on the screen. Okay. I just want to say hi to everybody who's in the chat before we get going too far. And then we're going to catch up with Al before he loses signal, because I see he is on the road there, and you know how his signal goes, and he's going to give us an update for the cards real quick. So you people in the chat, got any questions? I know Max Vision is in the house, and he says he has a show tonight. I told him to post a thing. So we're getting a full house. People are rolling in and already. Pamela Jean's in the house, and Teresa D'Anton, thank you for coming. Pure Love Ascension, Lori, thank you for coming. Jill Jarrett's in the house, and Lucky Stone. Lucky Stone had a question, something about a fish. And climbing a tree. He says intelligence is perspective. When you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, you are both disappointed. And that's true. Not, you know, a fish is a fish. And I was going to say something on that is, you know, we get our intelligence from, we have that ability to have intelligence. And I think the other animals and critters out there, they're just kind of programmed. They can only learn so much. You know, it's kind of like having a bad computer and a new good computer.
Right.
I
think it's perfect for them, but it's just not.
Yeah. And if we transferred into an animal, I think we'd be kind of disappointed at this level.
You know what was so cool, Robert? On Thursday,
yeah,
I was at one of my properties and there was a bobcat sleeping in the courtyard. And I went up to one of the windows to check into the home to look at one of the bathrooms. And we startled each other, and I was literally within 2 to 3 feet face to face with the bobcat. And I just looked at it, and I just got kind of still, and I was like, calm down, you need to calm, you know. And I talked myself into like just taking a deep breath. I took a deep breath, and I just stared straight at its eyes, and I was like, I won't hurt you. And it looked at me, and then it jumped on the ledge, and it was like in pounce position, and it just looked at me again. And I was like, you're beautiful. I won't hurt you. And then it sat down on the wall and looked at me and cocked its head sideways. And then it looked at me again. And I was like, I'm going to back up now. So I slowly started to like kind of withdraw. And the cat jumped off the wall and ran into the golf course. But I was like, holy smack. I am like really close to a bobcat right now. Oh,
yeah.
I could be in trouble. But yeah, it didn't do anything. It just stared at me.
Nice. But you did all the right things. You didn't run. You didn't get super scared and freak out. I mean, they're usually as scared of you as you are of them. Yeah. And they tend to just want to be left alone. Most animals do. They just want to be left alone.
We've bumped into each other before because it lives around that area, and I have a lot of houses out there. So I've seen it sleeping on the patio before, and you know, so I've tapped on the glass and stuff at it. I know it's the same one. So I've seen this cat a couple times, but not that up close and personal, Robert.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to absolutely.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. Well, that is really cool. Next time, get a picture. And we'll put
I have
it
a
up.
picture of the bobcat actually.
Awesome.
really
I
do.
just want to say hi to a few other people. We got Truth Seeker in the house. We got David Castle. We got Grandpa Brian and Doug Stack. Let's see. And of course I said, oh, the Way is in the house too. We
Hi.
also have Ultraviolet Flame, who finally came to visit us. I seen she started making videos again. Good for you. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for coming. And we got Brenda's mom, Brenda, Milky's mom in the house. Thank you for coming. By gosh. And let's see who else has dropped into the house. Project Skyfalls. I'm looking for a few people yet. I still have a box of stuff, I believe it or not, from people who haven't sent me addresses. So if you haven't sent me your address for the soaps and the cards or whatever you won at the party, oh, I got Jill. That's the one I got. Jill Jarrett. I think I don't remember if she sent me a thing or not. We got Pamela Jean. You still got a block of soap here. And I still got D Junkin. Well, anyway, they got a soap here. Teresa, you probably got the names better. I wrote them down real quick and put them on. We got Gaza Cam. I got to send his out yet because he had a thing. And who is this one here? He's got a block of soap. My S. Amy S. I wrote it down fast. Wish I would have spelled it better, but I was trying to do everything at once. So, and we have Lady Paw still has. So you people, if you want something, Teresa, if you still got those names. Oh yeah, sorry, Jill. I got your address and I didn't see that in the bag. I did send out Scotty Boys today though.
Right.
So sorry, Jill. I've been way behind the times. I've been really busy. I work a lot.
It'll
So
get there.
sorry. Yeah, it'll get there. Don't worry. I sent out everybody else's. I'm a little bit slow. But anyway, I want to catch up with Big Al because he has stuff and all about the cards. Big Al, let's hear it from you. Real quick, like before you lose signal.
You mind
And-
if
Okay,
Oh, there he
can
is.
you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you now. Remember, folks,
Okay,
it's
so,
these beautiful cards.
Thank you. Teresa gave me the update on the available cards at 11, and you have that list, correct?
Yes, I have that list.
You have the list.
Yes, I have the list. Give me a second. I can look it up. But I have the list. Somebody sent it to me. I think it was you. Or it was Teresa. One or the other, but I'll look it up. You just keep telling about the cards.
All right, well, we have some on each sheet that's left. So whoever wants to be on them, that's funny. That was our GPS. Whoever wants to be on the cards now, don't forget to send your information to me at lsorello@gmail.com. Give me your zodiac and whatever name you want on the card. Okay?
Yep. Now, how much does it cost to get on a card?
$0.
$0.
$0. So you can be on a card. You don't have to buy a card. It doesn't
It's
cost you
$0.
anything. It's zero money. All you have to do is send Al your picture, and you could send it to me or Teresa or somebody. Al's email is there. Whatever. We'll get you that out. If you want to be on, send you you'll need if you want to put your zodiac sign, your picture, and it costs $0. Zero. That's a big zero with an O, and you can be on. Zig Zag, you gonna get on a card?
Sure. Now that I'm aware of it, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
They're playing cards. They're awesome with all
Yeah.
of the Soul Tribe on them.
Absolutely.
Okay,
You can order your cards too. Look at these things. I'm gonna blow this
All
up.
right,
And
so you can still hear me, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I should be able to give you the list right now.
I got a list too. See, here's the cards right here. See, look how nice they go. You know, anyway, yeah, there you go. Anyway, they look like that. We're gonna, you know, anyway, they're nice playing cards. You get your thing, and each one is exactly different. None of them are exactly the same. You can pick out whatever card you want. And here's the list. Al, if you don't have the list, I have the list. We have the hearts. 2, 4, 5, 6, and 9 are available. We have clubs. 3, 4, 6, and 9 are available. Spades 1 through 7 are available, and the 10 and the king are available. Diamonds 3, 5, and the king are available. Now, here's the next thing. If I already have a card on the first deck and I want to be on the second deck, can I get a new picture and a new card?
Yeah.
Al.
Yes, you can. Yeah,
Absolutely.
And as a matter of fact, there's already someone who wants to be on the third deck that I start. They want a different face and a different suit.
Absolutely. And that's because we all change. And I know I want mine to be different because, you know, you guys all know me wearing the hat now. And I'm like, you know, over the last year or so, I've really changed, you know, you know, so as I change, I want my card to change too. And that's going to make more work for Al, but guess what? We really appreciate him.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, you told me you were going to send me a pic with your hat, less your headphones. So we'll see what happens.
Yes, I will get there. Sorry, I'm running late. I took a lot of pictures today and videos, so I should have something soon.
Right on.
Okay, so Zig Zag. So you just heard the list. Would you like to pick a card?
King.
Wants a king. We have a
All
king
right,
available.
I think
I
it's
knew you'd pick a king. I knew you'd pick a king. I could read. I don't even have to be a mind reader to pick that. The king of diamonds is available, or the king of spades. Which would you like?
Here we go. Drum roll, please.
King of diamonds.
Diamond.
Diamond.
Okay, king of diamonds.
Okay, Teresa, you must have heard that. King of diamonds for Zig Zag. What's your zodiac?
I'm an Aries.
Aries.
All
Ooh,
right.
we got an Aries sitting right next to you, don't we, Trina?
Yep. Yes. The Rams.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Okay, there it is, live, folks.
See how easy it is? That's all you gotta do.
Yeah. Did you say you
And
still got
okay,
three diamonds?
you still have to send him a picture though. You still have to send the picture.
Yeah.
You
That's
still got
true.
3 of diamonds left, Al?
Robert, we have a 3 of diamonds.
I gotta pull it up here. Just a second.
Oh, okay. Sorry. No worries.
Diamonds. We got a 3, a 5, and a king. A diamonds.
I'll do 3 of diamonds, Al. Put me on that one.
Yep.
Okay, Trina Phoenix, 3 of diamonds. Teresa, write it down.
Yeah,
Thank you,
right on.
Teresa. Teresa's so good. I tell
Yeah,
you,
she's
thank you
awesome.
very
Oh,
much.
yeah.
I don't know how to
Yeah,
thank her
I
enough
can't do
sometimes.
I don't know how she keeps everybody in this whole soul tribe organized. I mean, seriously. But yeah, Teresa's
absolutely.
on it.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, she is.
Oh, yeah. We love you, Teresa.
Yes, we
So much.
do.
I couldn't have done it without you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're all saying awesome, zigzag, awesome. That's
Yeah.
what Grandpa Brian's saying.
Okay.
There you go.
What's up,
We
Grandpa?
need someone from the audience tonight. We need someone from the audience tonight to go ahead and pick a card.
Right.
Pick a card.
Yeah,
All right.
someone from chat. Yeah.
Pick a card. All right. Someone from chat. Put in your pick a card. What kind of card do you want to pick? Any card? Any card. Any
Whatever.
card. Okay.
Whatever's left on the list.
Okay. All right. Whatever's left on the list. Okay. Sounds good. I see Centurion's son is in the house now. And let's see. And Doug Stack. I think Doug Stack was already in the house. Mary Wins is in the house, of course. Mary's awesome. Anyway, now that we got the cards out of the way, we can go back to talking about how this is all. Oh, Jill Jarrett says 8 of hearts. Saturnian Sun says 3 of hearts.
Right on.
Whoa! Wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's
There you go.
all right. Well, you
Jill.
better write that down, Robert. You better write
And
it
they're
down.
zodiacs. They're zodiacs.
Yeah, Zodiacs too. Hurry.
Oh.
And what
Put it
name
on
they
chat.
want.
Put it on
Yeah.
chat.
Teresa,
Jill.
if she's gonna catch that, I'm sure.
Teresa,
Yeah.
yeah, she has
Zodiac
to,
and
because,
how you want it written on your card. So put
Yeah.
down if you want your name or your handle or both.
handle. Yeah.
Yeah. Or
Or
both.
or you don't even need your face on there if you want just a
Zodiac
flower
symbols.
or a
Yeah,
tree
whatever.
or your race car or whatever you want on there. You can, it's it. You can do it.
Email your picture to Al.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's it. His email address is in the link down below. So
Okay.
check it out. It's in there. You can order the cards on the Crystal Network. He's got his email there. It's real simple. It'd take you 5 minutes if you got PayPal. Not a big problem.
I just ordered soap from Crystal and the sugar scrub. I can't wait.
Yeah, the sugar scrub is really good. I love that thing.
Wait.
Put it on my
Yeah.
face in the
I
morning.
can't wait. Yes.
Yes,
And
exactly.
then we
Yeah.
have our
Next
awesome,
is the Corona pants.
we have our awesome pyramid here from Marsha Price,
Marsha
Ah.
Price, yeah.
and you have a hand carved crystal from Karen Kasparov.
Around my neck.
And Marsha wrapped the copper around there, and I'll tell you what, it's amazing how powerful. We've got several pyramids in this truck.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so
Yeah. Cloud busting.
So we're gonna talk about AI now.
yes, we're going back to the AI and we're going back to health and AI, and we can put in a little bit about the crystals because I think, Zig Zag, tell me, do you know anything about the waves, the 5G, the emissions that these computers and AI gives off? What's going on with that? Is that part of something? And I know we've talked on the show about warding all that off with different stones, and I think Trina, you know more about the stones, which one protects you from whichever what than I do.
I like shungite and I like the orgone.
Yes.
And I like
Yes.
I like a lot of stuff. I like a lot of different stuff. But
Yeah, I've got mine right here.
yes,
Shungite.
that's and like I said, the power of crystals, and a lot of it's about literally activating your own shield. So you guys got to find, when you feel stuff is off, you got to pay attention to that and make sure you shield up. We got to start to consciously remember to activate that shield. Very interesting, because you remember how Harry heard the hello in my room. Remember that, Al? That Perry just heard the hello in the room. And I've been hearing, I'm pretty sure Brian's been around the past couple of days. And very interesting, because he told me, he says, pay attention to the lyrics of Lightning Crashes. And Brian used to talk in songs. So y'all just listen to that song. And I know it's going to mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. But yeah, I think you wanted us to.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, to hear. Lightning crashes.
Max Vision says 5G is enough to make you sick. 5G can make you fall down in the street. What do you have to say? Zig Zag, what do you got to say about all this? We got kind of off track there, but we're back on track here.
I don't pay too much mind to 5G, and I'm going to tell you why, because I'm in 5D actually. You know what I'm saying? Like when you start to really create, like you literally create everything with your thoughts. There's something called, if you watch the works of Dr. Bruce Lipton, which I'm like a really big fan of, I mean, there's really something that's called the biology of belief. You know what I'm saying? And it's a real thing, because even if you go into science, there's also the placebo nocebo effect.
Yeah.
Or there's a chemistry that happens with 5G and everything, just like there's a chemistry with people. It's all energy, you know what I'm saying? But one thing I can tell you is that there's heavy metals, which is a real thing. If you're eating a certain way, if you're taking medications, certain supplementations that you may be taking are loaded with like even the vaccines, they have metals. And when you really look at it, these are frequencies and they're actually receptive to metal. Like look at us, for example. We start to talk about we have crystals. You know what I'm saying? We are crystal beings, you know what I'm saying? But we have the power to emit a frequency and we also attract frequencies. If our body is full of heavy metals, how do you think that's going to affect you on a mental level? If your gut's connected to your brain, if your brain is connected to, you know, everything's connected. You have a nerve, which is it's basically a network of nerves, and all these organs are all connected. The organs, they're called organs for that reason. You play organs in a church, they emit a frequency. It's about those in harmony first. Now, the reason I'm into that area where I'm talking about right now is because I didn't want to interrupt before, but I want to respond to the comment that you read before about the intelligence being subjective, which is actually pretty spot on if you really think about it, because you just said you saw the movie The Matrix. You saw the little boy that told Neo there is no spoon, right?
Yep.
There is no spoon because there is no sun either. Meanwhile, the sun is basically the source of life, but also the source of information for us. If the sun turns off, it's not reflecting off the moon. You have no light. So it's basically going to be lights out. You have nothing to categorize as information. Everything is, because you can go into quantum science and observe, you know, the observer particle theory, where it's going to go into that. But let's say, for example, if because the sun is not lighting up my reality, in actuality, when I open up my eyes, I'm actually animating and lighting up the sun and the reality. Now we talk about the sun giving us a certain percent of the color spectrum, which means that we're technically blind. But it's also subjective to basically how you're activating your vessel, because it's going into our DNA and all that type of stuff, where if I'm actually opening my eyes and I'm animating the sun, I'm animating my reality, I'm the one that's perceiving my reality with that 0.1% of the color spectrum, you know what I'm saying? Which can actually be improved by improving oneself. That's why they say if you want to change the world, you change yourself. But if I can take the responsibility to learn about my systems, like we've talked about the microbiome is basically your workers, and you have trillions of sentient cells. They're all responsible for certain systems in your body. If we stop worrying about the government system, the religion system, even the spirituality system, and worry about the systems that we sleep with and wake up every day, we would know a hell of a lot more about what's going on outside, because it's all starting from you first. Like my sun is right here. This is the one that sees, like, let's say 100% of the color spectrum is my solar plexus. If I can keep that in shape, the heart is the anagram for earth, right? The heart doesn't just pump blood. Just like when you look at things outside of you, like the pyramids, the Bermuda Triangle, they're not just doing certain things. There's much more to it. Just like there's much more to your heart. There's much more to what this body can do. Is the same thing. This is nothing but a blueprint to what's going on within me. The more I judge and the more I'm, demonizing the stuff out there, I'm not really getting anywhere with that. I'm only just narrow-minding my perception to things. You know what I'm saying? I have to keep an open mind and know, yeah, there's things going on outside of me, but how do I react to it? Because that's what's happening. You either be proactive or reactive, and it's basically more in a reactionary process is where your energy gets harvested. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot more to what we consider money, the currency. You activate yourself by actually harnessing more of your energy, which will actually open yourself up to many more avenues than what you think you can actually just do here in a limited perception. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's about being more open-minded, but taking care of your body. Like if I ask the typical American or anything like that, hey, can you tell me a little bit about your lymphatic system, your endocrine system, your neurological system, skeletal system, your circulatory system? I mean, they can't tell me in detail about even one system. You get what I'm saying? But they know a lot about the systems outside that the news, that the media and all this tells you.
Oh yeah. Well, and I was talking to somebody today about that, the same thing. And I says, how many people know themselves, like, if they're sickly and they don't want it, they just don't know it. They ignore it until they're, broken down like their vehicle. I think it started out with like the vehicle, they'll run that vehicle till the tires are bald, the belts are about ready to break. Yeah, the muffler's about ready to fall off, and they'll keep driving it, and then oh man, something went wrong, and I think I'm gonna sell it. And then the next guy's got to fix the whole thing, because if you would have just changed the wiper blades, put some new tires on it, fix this, fix that as it went bad, or kept the maintenance up, you'd have a really nice vehicle, but you didn't. You did this, zero. You did a big fat nothing burger.
I like the analogy you bring up about the vehicle, because if you really look at it, this is why I'm even getting into iridology. You know what I'm saying? Like when you have a check engine light on your car, you take it to a mechanic, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, he's gonna actually have to scan the vehicle and find the trouble code to diagnose the car and then fix the part.
Yeah.
The way the doctors nowadays work is like, you go to a doctor and you tell them your symptoms and they're just writing down your symptoms. They check your vitals, where even if they're normal, it doesn't mean you don't have something going on the line, you know what I'm saying? But they're writing a bunch of medications for you. So it's basically like you go to a mechanic and instead of addressing the problem, it's like they just cut the check engine. Like, hey, you came in for a check engine light, so we're gonna cut the check engine light. You have no more problem. So it's kind of like you suppress the symptom, but if it doesn't work, you know what I'm saying? It's just gonna get worse. You know what I'm saying? Now look at the words.
Covered it up.
But look at the words we use too. Like if you really look at it, your vehicle, when you let's say you run your tires, you know what I'm saying, to the ground, or you're redlining your car, you're tired. And you look at the word tire and tired. When you overexert, yourself, you're basically exhausted. And you see the word exhaust, because when you're screeching your tires and running your car, you blow exhaust fumes. You know what I'm saying? All these little things where I'm gonna probably make a video on that, where I'm gonna start tying in how all these words basically just correlate with everything was made in the image of us. You know what I'm saying? Everything that we hear, we like, look at the word pickup, and then you got the engine, like the Cummins or the Power Stroke. You know what I'm saying? Like it's everything so sexualized. But aside from that, getting off topic, like the sensors that we see with the rear view mirrors, you know what I'm saying? Like you see how you can see behind you with the rear view mirror. So it's like you always hear the saying, like you need ears to see and eyes to hear. And that makes a lot of sense. There's moments where I'm meditating, where I'm listening to singing bowls or like tuning forks, and then you can actually start to see patterns in your field of perception, but your eyes are closed, you know what I'm saying? But it's all happening because of what you're taking in from the ears, you know what I'm saying? So you're kind of seeing the back of, you know, let's say where it's dark, you know what I'm saying? I hope I made sense with all that, but everything just kind of ties in and makes sense, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, I totally agree with that. What do you know about the heavy metals? You know, this was interesting. Heavy metals. Now, the other day, I'm got an experiment here. The guy, if you can see that, that's a paper clip, just a regular paper clip. I just dug it out. There's a guy, I forget, Dr. Such and Such. I think he's from Hawaii. I was watching him, and he literally took a magnet, or not a magnet, a piece like a paper clip and some pieces of metal, and he started sticking them to his body. And,
you talking about Dr. Robert Kassar?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Did you see that video?
Yeah, I saw that one. I didn't see the video, but I saw the picture. I just didn't feel like clicking on that.
Yeah. So he just took that paper clip like that and he put it up there and it stuck. It's like that.
Right. So
that's just a regular paper clip. How come it is sticking to my forehead? Paper clips shouldn't stick to my forehead.
You probably have an oily forehead, bro.
No, it's not really. I mean, literally. Look at that. Look at that. It's just you know, it's just you know, well, I'll try something heavy. I don't know if something heavier. Look at that thing. That's a heavy piece of metal. It's sticking to my forehead.
Yeah. Well, we are magnetic beings, you know what I'm saying?
You know, I mean, why is it sticking to my forehead? And how do I get rid of it? When I was a kid, things didn't stick to me like that.
Well, I mean, like I said, we're magnetic, you know what I'm saying? We're electromagnetic beings at the end of the day, however you want to look at it. But when it comes down to like heavy metals, let's say like these are theories, you know what I'm saying? Like with the chemtrails, which is like barium, strontium, and barium that they spray in the air, the type of heavy metals they have in the soil, or what you would have from, you know, the foods and whatnot, or what they're feeding the animals. And then this is the type of things we ingest and stuff. You know, what does metal do? Metal rots. I mean, oxidizes. It turns into rust. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want anything like that that's got that kind of property to rust. You know what I'm saying? And we look at just certain connective tissue in our body, and you know how it correlates to how stiff we are and whatnot. Like we're made of water. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how kids are so flexible and malleable, and then you start solidifying and become a lot more stiffer and whatnot. And it's just basically because of the type of things we ingest. Like we should be eating more water foods. Unfortunately, that's not what happens. You know what I'm saying? Because we're made of water. Like we should be eating watermelons, cantaloupes, honeydew, grapes, which are just literally I consider like little water bombs. But basically what that has, those are organic minerals. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a big difference between inorganic minerals and organic minerals. Like somebody can say, I'm drinking alkaline water all day, but what is it alkalized with? Inorganic minerals. You know what I'm saying? And they actually, there's a way to alkalize water where if you just take distilled water, which is free of pretty much everything, which is just pure water, you could just alkalize it with a little bit of lemon. But if you look at the water that's in these fruits, especially if you're doing your own garden, because I have my own garden, which I actually put videos up on my channel also, which you could check out like garden tours, but I harvested like 15 watermelons, you know what I'm saying? And I don't use any chemicals, so I know what I'm getting. You know what I'm saying? I can reuse these seeds, but the water there is actually distilled water with all the actual elements that you need. And it's also hydrating you on a cellular level, but here's the real crazy thing is we got to get into a topic of like the sugars, like the fructose, glucose, and then like the milk sugars, which is galactose. But these simple sugars is what the body runs off on. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of people who start even the protein myth and whatnot. But let's say, for example, you have a pot. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of people who say, I'm always hydrated because I'm drinking a lot of water. But then when you check, they're really not hydrated. And that's the ability for the adrenals or kidneys to process the electrolytes. But let's say, for example, you're drinking a lot of water. Don't you just pee clear water? Like it looks like you're just recycling the water. You know what I'm saying? It's no different than when you have a pot and you take a gallon of water and you just dump it on the plant. It's just going to come out the bottom. And if you leave that plant outside in the sun for like a half hour, it's already dry again. Now, when you have a drip irrigation system where it's feeding the plant the water little by little, it's actually absorbing the water. This is how I look at fruits. Fruits actually hydrate you on a deep cellular level, not just like water does, where if the body doesn't recognize it, the body tends to reject things it doesn't recognize. You know what I'm saying? That's why vitamins, you have a half-life and you pee them out. You pee like nuclear yellow for that reason. So that's why water, if it's got inorganic minerals, it's not as beneficial. But if you have distilled water, it's not necessarily hydrating you, but it has a cleansing effect. So you're cleaning out the filters. Like you're not going to put new fluids in a car that has dirty filters. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of look at it like that, where I use that analogy to make it make sense, you know?
Wow. Yeah. Because, but okay. So, you know, I've been told a lot and there's a lot of people, and I think everybody kind of knows this, but believe it or not, there's a lot of people that don't. If you drink soda or you drink tea or you drink coffee or you drink all this stuff, it's not the same as water? No, it isn't. People think, oh, well, I put that coffee and I poured a bunch of water in it and I got coffee and I drank coffee all day. It's not. What does that do to you if you think that and you start drinking 2 pots of coffee a day and you say, I didn't drink it. I drank plenty of water. I was always hydrated. I had coffee in my mouth all day long.
They say if you drink a diuretic, which would be your teas or your coffees, that you need to intake at least double the volume of water per the amount of caffeine or whatever the diuretic that you're consuming.
So you could literally be dehydrated, this is really important.
It does dehydrate you. It definitely does. That's why people, you know, sometimes they're put on those specific coffees and teas to drop water weight because it's a diuretic. It literally dehydrates the system.
That's right.
Yes.
Now, aside from that, I mean, it's basically the potential hydrogen, which is the pH. Like coffee is very acidic. You know what I'm saying? So you're causing an imbalance of the pH. Now your body is going to be using the calcium as a buffering system. And then this is why people wonder why they have bad bones and whatnot. And that's the reason why. It's because it's actually, your body's abundant in calcium. You know what I'm saying? And then there's people who say, I got bad bones. And what do? They go get a calcium supplement. That inorganic calcium or that isolated source of calcium you buy in a supplemental form is actually not doing you any good. We talk about calcifying in different areas of the body. Like calcium needs other binders to actually help it absorb work. This is why I'm not a believer in like isolated vitamins. I believe in more or less like you get all your vitamins. If you get the right amount, you don't even need a large amount. You get what I'm saying? Like when you get, let's say you can pull out a carrot from the soil, is better than you eating a big steak with a bunch of like potatoes and whatnot, because first of all, it's denatured nutrients. It's all acidic, but it's also going to cause an imbalance of the pH in your system, which is going to cause your body to compensate to use other things to stay in homeostasis. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's a complex topic, which I don't want to hijack the whole channel, the whole video on that, but because I can go hours talking about that part. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Zig Zag, could you like roughly explain to people who do not know what iridology is? Could you give them a brief rundown of what that actually even is? Because many people may not know what that specific study is.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
you
I
go.
didn't know. I did. A lot of people don't. That's why I was like, I am very well aware, but because I love it and I've been fascinated since I was a child. But yeah, I bet a lot of people may have that same question.
I'm actually very happy you brought that up because I was actually talking about it a little bit before and I completely forgot to tie up on it. But the way I consider iridology is kind of like if somebody has an issue, you're actually mapping and scanning the eyes, no different than when you scan a car when you take it to a mechanic shop. Instead of just guessing what the problem is, right? You actually connect the car to a scan tool, and it reads you the trouble codes. When you map out the eyes, if you have a problem, you can see it in the eyes. Like I'm talking about head to toe problems. I'm talking about imbalances in the body as far as deficiencies, lymphatic stagnation. You may have blockages, colon issues. You can have acidosis. You can see that all in the ring by the skin rings, the nerve rings. You can see prostate issues. You can see neurological dysfunctions and where all that is just by different color shades. It's a very complex thing to study, which I've been already a year into it and I'm almost done with it. So I'm definitely going to be promoting that on my channel. But, you know, and like I said, in future videos to come, if I get on this video on this channel, I can actually, you know, offer those services to people, because actually I would just need like a picture of the eyes. And you know what I'm saying? It's coming down to cholesterol levels, you know, and you can basically see that by the start of the cataracts or the skin rings around the eyes. But the beauty part about this is that it's mind blowing me, is that whatever happens to your body, it will show up in the eyes in real time. Like that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, whoa, like when I heard that, I'm like, this is the shit right here. This is where it's at.
Not only it can almost predict the future, but it can definitely see the past and the present, but it literally can show you where your body's going to. So it can kind of give you a directive to what might be breaking down in the near future, because you can see the change in the color, the texture of the eye filament, how it's holding itself together, the lacing, all these different things. They mean specific things. And it's so amazing. The first time I got my eyes looked at, the iridologist, he knew every injury I had sustained on my body. He named every single one I had. It down to how many times I had stitches on my head.
Yes.
He could see it in my eye.
It's so fascinating.
It's
but
amazing.
That's why, you know what's crazy? How they say the eyes are the windows to the soul.
They are.
When we look at, for example, like the pupil, the black hole. The black hole is basically the observer behind the eyes. But if you really want to look at it from a physical level without getting to the woo-woo part of it, reading your eyes, you can actually see the person for what they are. Because what is your soul? Your soul is an individual spirit. Your individuality is your solo spirit. And it's actually, what are your experiences here? Because that's what the soul is responsible for, vibrations, right? Like the water part, the fluid. So when I'm able to map out your eyes, I can see, because look, if somebody has liver issues, you already know they got anger issues. They're easily irritated, right? If they have lymphatic stagnation or whatnot, you already know they're going to be the type of sluggish person, a little bit of a procrastinator, but you can always see the type of person they are just by reading the eyes, but without judging them, you know what I'm saying? But it's going to take a little bit of soul searching for the person as well, because if you're sitting there, you would have to be honest with yourself and say, how the hell did I get here? But then for you to know where you're going, you have to know where you're going. I always use the analogy of, I know what I'm going to eat based on what I've eaten already, and keeping it simple. See, it's not just the amount of meals, but it's also the simplicity of what you eat, that the body doesn't have to, because you're actually, when you eat, you're taking a download and your body's processing it. And whatever you're processing, it's utilizing as information. So if I have a carrot in my hand, these carrots are good for my eyes. It's just an idea. It's not good for my eyes yet until my body took it in and fully processed it. But if my body was not able to process it, then it ain't good for shit. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it didn't, like right now we're always eating. Like you're listening to my information, you're processing information. Do you notice how when somebody doesn't know what you're talking about, you tilt your head, you're like, huh? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like the earth is kind of on a tilt. And I feel like the shift we're trying to talk about is straightening the planet out on a big scale. We want to look at it from a global scale. But the way I look at it is like this. That's why people say, let me break it down for you. They say things like that is so that it can become more bioavailable information for you to observe. You know what I'm saying? So if you feed people information, that's why even some people say, I don't think that person's ready for that information. Why do you think the global elites, if we want to call them the global elites, aren't really worried about truth seekers actually speaking like things on a real deep level? Because the planet on a collective, are they even able to absorb a level of information that you feed them? You get what I'm saying? So what would it matter if you do feed them or not? Because they say, oh, you don't want, because it's not a religion. You don't impose on nobody's free will or push things on them, but you plant seeds. Just like in a garden, you plant the seed, you know what you're planting, and then you expect a growth and you eat off the fruits of your labor. You know what I'm saying? So I look at my world that I'm in, my immediate community, as my garden. You get what I'm saying? So the reason I make videos is because I can go back and be my own critique. Nobody's perfect. Sometimes I'm in my ego, sometimes I'm not. But if I'm in my ego and I know I'm talking from a place, like that's why people say, oh, he's talking out of his ass, is because you could be talking from a harsh space out of your ass, or you could be talking from a divine space. You know what I'm saying? And I could be the judge of that. I'll be like, nah, man, I wasn't feeling myself there. I'm not going to really feed this to the public. Not in the sense where I'm like worried about what anybody thinks. It's more or less in the sense where I'm like, I wouldn't feed my child toxic food. So this is really not beneficial or favorable for anybody. You know what I'm saying? Again, I'm sorry for my long rants, bro. So
yeah, but you that was your but that's the thing. If you were doing whatever you believe at that point, that was your truth at that point in time. And as you gain more knowledge or whatever, your truth can change as your perspective changes of what you're doing. And like you said, your community is your garden. And like, you know, I've said a couple of times here just the last few days, you know, you got to know your neighbors a little bit. If certain things happen, you'd want to know your neighbor and not say, I don't know, I haven't met that guy over there. Well, you know, he could be a serial killer or he could be your best friend. And you don't know it. And are you going to wait until, you know, dark 30 and then say, maybe I should go knock on his door? We're, you know, we really need people now. And that might not be such a good idea because you don't know him. You haven't talked to him. You haven't made friends with them. Yeah, I like that idea. You know,
people don't realize as an individual how important they actually are because, you know, people say, where do thoughts come from, right? But if you really think about it, it goes into a pool. Like if I have neighbors, I'm swimming in a pool with them every day. You know what I'm saying? I kind of look at it like a big pool. So if I'm dishing out negative thoughts or I'm in a negative space, that's kind of like a contagious vibration. And it's easier to catch those because we're in a lower vibrational realm. Like things actually vibrate a lot lower here. Not to say that this is a bad place, because that's all perspective also. The way I look at it is like this, like we are in formation, like we are in a form, right? So when we look at spirits or people who passed on, like they're not in formation anymore. You know what I'm saying? But they're a frequency that we can tap to based on the vibration and frequency we're in. You know what I'm saying? But we are vibrational beings. Like we're in a form. What do we do with this form? The beauty part about it is that we get to experience this physicality and it's so lucid. You know what I'm saying? But working your mentality here, like as within, so without, you're more of a balanced individual. But that's why when I look at everybody outside of me and, you know, something happens, it's up to me to feed into that. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say feed into it, because you can either eat from there or get eaten from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, it's your choice.
I totally agree. Did you either you hear of a guy called Dr. Robert Morris? Organic Intelligence keeps saying Dr. Robert Morris, and I think he must do the eye thing, and he's really trying to heal people. He broke free of mainstream and he started to healing people. And that's what we're all about. It's not the doctoring where they practice. I got this from Julianne Payne. Practice on you and you know, write you scripts. You know, because it is a practice. They don't know what they're doing. They just give you medicines. It's alchemy. See, and that's another thing. All those medicines are alchemy. And I was told today, and you can address this too, and I'm sure there's some people in the audience that'll benefit from this question. Is if I'm on an antibiotic and I'm taking vitamins, how does that interact? Oh boy, how does that interact? Woo! I hit a cue card there.
First of all, we always got to go with anything that we discuss here today is not any form of medical.
Yes.
Yeah, always good to always make. And you know what's crazy, Trina? I was gonna make that disclaimer as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we are not doctors.
Not doctors.
I'm just
consult a professional.
This is for entertainment purposes only.
You already know.
Yes, and test just testimonials of different things that we've tried and we've found success with, but it is not to advise or deter anybody towards those practices. Seek your professionals always first.
That's exactly it. But do you know anything about antibiotics and how they interact with vitamins?
Well, this was one of the reasons I kind of want to jump in there. I almost died from antibiotic overprescription. I developed a systemic candida infection that bypassed my intestinal wall and went into my bloodstream. So
Okay.
from that point forward,
Stop for a second. Candida.
yes,
I didn't know what candida was until probably about 6-8 months ago. So
which is an overgrowth of the yeast fungus in the body.
okay, go on. Sorry.
And that's from over, yeah, it's either you get it from over fungus or you get it from over prescriptions of medications. So yeah, I'd been on antibiotics for almost 2 years because I had some kind of weird low-grade infection that they could not find out after they ran every test possible on me. And I was getting sicker and sicker and sicker and sicker. And it literally, it got so bad that my lymphatic system completely shut down because I had more yeast cells in my blood than I had blood cells. And my current prescription from the physicians was a 3-month supply of antibiotics. So I was in the process of beginning renal failure, and I was going into more advanced stages of that. I was in the beginnings of it. My heart was going to stop before the renal failure actually killed me, though, because at that point in time, my blood had gotten so thick that my heart could barely pump it through my heart. So I went to my mom and dad and I said, we need to go have dinner because I think I'm going to die soon. I already turned gray. I had no pink, no blood flow left in my body because my blood was so thick. It wasn't circulating properly. My lymphatics were all the size of golf balls, marbles, and some of them were a little bit larger than a large chicken egg. So, and that was throughout my entire body, under my armpits, under my breast, and my groin, all over and behind my knees, all up and down my neck, my throat, the whole entire body. So then I was in a position to where my immune system was so weak that if I would have caught a common cold, if somebody would have sneezed on me wrong, the virus would have went straight to my heart because I had no lymphatic system to protect my heart from viruses. So that was quite a ride. And thank God my parents knew of a good homeopathic doctor and suggested I go to him immediately, which he was on a 7-month waiting list. But because of my condition, they saw me in 24 hours and he saved my life. So
wow.
Wow.
Yeah. Can I tell you what, like, and I use this analogy also just based on like gardening and whatnot. Mm-hmm. So there's something called a mycelium network intertwined in the root system of the trees in the woods, you know what I'm saying, or in yes. nature and whatnot.
Yes, there is.
This fungal network feeds the tree from underneath because it cannot do it above ground because the environment is not sustainable for that. So the tree in nature, all right, from the sun feeds down all the nutrients to that mycelium network from up above. Like it feeds the sugars down to this mycelium network. This mycelium network is responsible for communication from one tree to another. One tree can actually know if another tree needs nutrients and will actually send that nutrients, all possible based on that fungal network. That mycelium network system of a mushroom, you know, the flowering part is a mushroom, you know. Now, the way I look at the gut microbiome is kind of like that, because the way I look at it is like this. That's why they say you are like the sun doesn't cause cancer. You know what I'm saying? The sun basically feeds or gives you vitamin D3, which actually is a hormone, and it gets processed on the skin. Okay. When you eat certain foods, such as like saturated fats or animal meat and whatnot, you notice how when you go in the sun, you tend to sweat. Those acidic oils come out on your skin, and that's actually what's burning you from the outside in. Like it's basically not the sun, it's the oils that is so acidic, it's giving you skin cancer. All right. It's a higher pH. Now, when you eat things like grapes and whatnot, you notice how there's something called resveratrol, and it's actually good for the skin, or something called grapeseed oil. These things are good for the skin. But notice when you want to tan, you put suntan oil or baby lotion, baby oil, and it's because the oils tend to burn your skin. But the type of oils you use is very important as well. But you also have natural oils that come out of the skin. That's why when you go in the sun, you're supposed to be glowing. You're supposed to be kind of like a golden color when you go in the sun, if you're eating the right foods. You know what I'm saying? Now, the reason I bring that up is because look in nature. Things can either be beneficial or parasitic. So, for example, when you go in nature, you ever seen those trees that have mushrooms growing on the side of the trunk? And we say, oh, look how pretty that is. But that's actually not good. That means that mycelium network, since the tree cannot sustain that mycelium network anymore, that mycelium network becomes parasitic and starts eating the tree from the inside out. You get what I'm saying? And it starts to corrode that tree, kind of like the form of cancer. So you can start to see where I'm going with that as far as like what certain things do, like antibiotics. Like Trina was just mentioning about the lymphatic system being the size of golf balls. When you have cancer, you have tumors. And it's because your body's not able to, that lymphatic system is a sewage drainer for your body. It's kind of like the sewer system.
Yep.
And if it's not functioning properly, it's backed up. All these things, you're going to experience putrefaction, you're going to experience diseases, because things that rot in you, what do you think is going to happen? It's going to come out and smells from your like private parts, your underarms. You tend to actually smell that because you actually,
you know what, that's only if it's topical. When it's superficial, when it bypasses the intestines and gets into the blood-brain barriers, and it bypasses the bowel, you don't have any of those external symptoms. That's one of the reasons it's super hard to diagnose. So I didn't have one of those, not one.
Yeah, no. I wasn't talking about your case. I was just talking about.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, a lot of people that have candida, if they're looking for those symptoms, they might not be present. But I have noticed, it seems that most people that have candida infections, most of them have the same condition where sometimes they get sweaty palms a lot. So that's one of the things I've seen a lot of times with that. It's like one of the things that seems to be associated with that infection.
But that has a lot to do with thyroid. You know what I'm saying? Like thyroid is responsible for metabolism, which processes things. You know what I'm saying? So if you're not able to process things, you'll start to notice your hands get sweaty or cold and whatnot. And that's where you start to say, okay, I can't process certain things. But let's say, for example, the gut microbiome, when you put in that nuclear bomb, which is the, antibiotics, which is why I consider it a nuclear bomb, because it kills all the bad guys, but it also kills the good guys. It leaves you vulnerable to viruses and diseases. Now, not to say that these viruses are bad. See, viruses, your body is supposed to process a virus, and the processing part may manifest in the form of a fever or body aches and whatnot, but this is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just your body processing it. Sometimes when that happens, that's your immune system firing on all cylinders. That's telling you that your body is processing something. But what do people do? They take medication, they try to suppress that and whatnot. But what's responsible for clearing out bad bacteria in the body and preventing like gut overgrowth or bacterial overgrowth or fungal overgrowth is basically the intestine, which gets compromised when you're taking antibiotics. You know what I'm saying? And then like these things, for example, are affected also from the type of food we eat, like cheeses and milks, which are also fungus food, but the microbiome, that's why it's so important. You know what I mean? Like you can reverse any disease if you just know how to do things where it's not like, if you can't poop, right? The latest thing you want to do is just basically like go get a laxative, you know what I'm saying? Which burns the gastrointestinal walls, like you want to do it in a way where you could do a gentle type of way where it's a cleanse. Like I just mentioned, like the fruits, where it's basically water foods. When you take a shower, you shower with water. You don't shower with oils or anything like that. So you shower with water. It's kind of like if you're eating water foods, it starts to clean out your colon because, like I said, it's distilled water. It has a cleansing agent. You're doing it, but it's not burning the gastrointestinal walls, which is basically where you're responsible for recycling the B12 bacteria in your body, because B12 is nothing but bacteria. It's not even a vitamin. They say vitamin B12, but it's actually a bacteria. And it's basically responsible for red blood cell formation, carbohydrate metabolism, neurological functions, energy production. You know what I'm saying? That's why people have so low energy, but that's on a physical level, because we can look at it from a metaphysical level where people are putting too much of themselves into looking for knowledge outside of themselves, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, but that'll be another topic, because I'll go ranting for another hour on that.
Right. There's a lot to it.
Yeah, there's a lot that ties in with it,
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're like, I just popped in my head. So we're like back to the AI thing. We're like a little mini AI.
All this we talked about is artificial intelligence, if you really look at it.
Yeah, because
and we're observing it.
Yeah, we're little mini organic robots that run around out here, and then we can catch viruses and break down, and then we're all tied to the hole, and then that goes to the out in the divine, and and we can look through the our shiny eyes right here to see what's wrong with us. Ain't that crazy?
I want to tie this one little thing in here.
Go ahead.
if you really look at all computers and artificial intelligence, it's a manifestation of how it works within us.
In
as
us.
an individual.
Yes.
You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like
Yeah.
if we really want to look at it, we want to demonize the internet, but the internet ain't really doing like, look, I'm connecting with you guys. This is kind of like I look at planets interacting with each other. Like
Yep.
we are aligned. You know how they say the planets align a certain way and there's certain energies. Like right now, it was manifested for us to actually be in frequency and have harmony right now, or chemistry for us to interact with each other. So the planets align. There's energy creating here. So the internet is beneficial because we can connect like this. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And you can even make money off the internet. So there's really nothing wrong with it. But if you really want to look at it, the thing is that if you like the problem with it is that people get addicted. Like they have the phone, they can't disconnect from the phone, they can't fast from it. No different than food gives you energy, but they can't stop eating. Meanwhile, it's good to take a break from time to time with food, but it all takes a little bit of discipline. Or riding the beast, like riding the dragon. The dragon is not supposed to be the master. You're the master. Like if I have a dog, you know what I'm saying? I'm the one walking the dog. I'm training the dog. The dog ain't walking me or training me. You know what I'm saying? There's kind of like I look at the body like that. The body's gonna have urges. The body's gonna have certain things based on external stimuli. But it all comes to, that's why they say you have to be centered. Like you could be self-centered. That could be looked at in a negative or a positive way. But self-centered means you have your bodies or all your planets aligned. Your bodies, you have an energetic body, emotional body, etheric body. You know what I'm saying? Then you got the physical body, but these bodies all have to be aligned. If they're out of harmony, there's a disconnect. That's why some people eat food if they're emotional eaters and then they feel guilty afterwards. That's basically the emotional mind disconnected from the rational mind. You know what I'm saying? Which actually is worse if you really want to look at it, because they say if you judge yourself in the worst way when you eat. But then it's like the guilt part's even worse. If I do something, I'm going to not, if I know better, because there's a lot of people who like, let's say they have weight issues or whatnot and they want to lose weight, but they'll eat that anyway. And then as they're eating it, they're like, I know I shouldn't be eating this, man. I know better, but I'm going to eat it anyway. So it's like they know better, but yet they just eat it anyway. But, you know, health is totally different. It doesn't have to do with like obese or thin people, because there's different people, you know what I'm saying? They're genetics, but health and nutrition and all that, and just health is just a state of being, just the being that you are. Is what mental state are you and how aligned and balanced are you as an individual? It's going to project as far as how strong your constitution is. Like when I read the eyes, those little spokes look like the spokes on a wheel. They need to be straight. You know what I'm saying? So the stronger and closer they are, the stronger they are. As an individual, you need to be aligned and balanced. You know what I'm saying? As an individual, you know?
You know what's so wild? We're talking about the artificial intelligence, and then I was just looking at the word and listening to you talk, and it's like artificial intelligence versus organic raw consciousness. Big difference. It's copy, but it's based off of the original the original idea of it. And then I was thinking about how you were discussing how the eye is a map of the body, and the eye can diagnose and predict and can tell you what's happening within that system. And I literally saw the flash of CERN, and it looks just like an eye.
Oh yeah.
Very interesting.
Oh yeah. Oh, that is so true. I got to pull up something here.
Because
If
what
I
we
can
what we
find it.
perceive about or see about or imagine about, it comes real in this reality. So what are they trying to look at through that eye there? Wow, interesting.
This is
Just
why I
really
say, like, that's why I got into quantum science or quantum mechanics based on the observation theory, which is why I say, like, nothing really exists unless I collapse it into existence as the observer. You know what I'm saying?
And there's the eye.
Yeah.
You know,
there you go.
I mean, you're looking at the eye. It's closest one, the fastest one I could find with like the eye of Ra. They've been telling us this eye thing for thousands of years.
Well, then
Come
we look at internet versus ethernet.
Right.
And,
right.
you know, we look at telepathic communication versus telephone communication. We look at cellular data or cell phones, and
Right.
that's how we truly communicate through each other. It's through our cellular network,
That's right.
like the trees are connected through their fungal networks.
That's
We're
right.
all operating through these beautiful, organic, natural ethernets. And
right.
everything in the artificial system is being copied through the natural gifts, and it's being copied as artificial through an internet. So it's very amazing how we have these two systems that are completely alive and operating on this planet. And one is completely organic and one is completely a copy of that which is organic.
And you know what's crazy? You start to tell people about like the telepathic communications and they don't really believe in that. But then yet they believe in the Wi-Fi that's coming out of their phone, connecting them from one country
Right.
to another. So, but it's all possible. The thing is that most of the abilities that we have are atrophied because our consciousness is so solidified into this body. Like it's just basically coming to a realization. And this is basically what it is a realization more than anything else that the body is not you. You know what I'm saying? Like none of this is basically you. If even going into it, like everything basically is basically 99.999% empty space. You know what I'm saying? Everything else in between or whatever it may be that you will call empty space is potential matter. I mean, potential energy. You know what I'm saying? Like where's the potentials coming from us? Like we are the potential of what we can be here in the planet, you know? So I don't know. It just, like I said, it's such a fascinating topic to get into. If you think about it, start to go into health. That's why health is wealth. Because you look at your cells, right? When you deprive your cells of oxygen, they mutate. And that's why you manifest cancer. That's what cancer is, a mutation of cells. You know what I'm saying? And this is why it's important on a cellular level to stay hydrated, to keep your adrenals and kidneys functioning properly so that your lymphatics aren't blocked up, because your lymph system being blocked up, it all connects to the brain. Like, why do you think people tell you, oh, he's slower, so that, you know, your stomach tells the brain that it's full? Because when you eat too fast, it doesn't give the stomach a chance, the brain, to tell that it's full. So then you overeat. You know what I'm saying? So what happens? That means that this is the first brain. And that's why when you're full, right, and you don't fast, it's no different than when somebody has a lot on their mind. Oh man, you know, I don't want to hear anything else. I got a lot on my mind. Or if you hear something, you're like, I don't know about that. I'm going to sit on it. That means you meditate on things. It's just like when you eat food, you metabolize your food. You don't just go run a marathon, right? If not, you're going to get indigestion. There's certain things you may hear that don't sit well with you, but it's on you as the individual to process your food, right? And digest what it is that you are intaking as information. You know what I'm saying? And is it feeding your soul? Is it feeding your ego? Like I can hear something that would make me feel prideful, and that's feeding my ego. But if I feel like I'm listening to something and it's actually like sparking an interest or motivating me to some extent, you can actually feel your soul vibrating. Like you'll know that's why they say food for thought, or like soul food. You know what I'm saying? Soul food goes deep into even it could be the most unhealthiest meal, but if it's prepared with like a certain level of love, like grandma's cooking, it doesn't matter the unhealthiest meal, but the fact that she prepared it a certain way with a certain energy from the heart, that food is going to nourish you more than the healthiest food you can eat, prepped with like emptiness, like no love, no value toward it. You know, that's why I feel like even when people do anything, doing it from a heart space, because I even hear people talking about love, that topic can go deep also, because we can compare nature, we can compare how your body works when things work unconditionally, but they're just working in a harmonious state. You know what I'm saying? Like things are just, it's like a song, a beautiful song that just makes your soul move. That's why when you hear certain like beats that you like, it kind of like uncontrollably makes you dance and you don't even realize why, because your soul is happy, your spirit's happy. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like how I look at it when you listen to information, or your body's vibrationally sound. That's why when somebody's crazy, they'll be like, no, that person's not sound. That person's classified crazy. You know what I mean? And it's because we emit a frequency. But are you emitting it from the heart? Are you emitting it from, the lower like centers, which I don't believe in directional up and down, left, right. But just for the sake of conversation, I say that. But like the lower part of us is our stability. And if we can have strong, stable foundations, it's like where we talk about like a good constitution in the eyes, a good stable foundation. You have a strong body, you can build from that. But even if you didn't, you can always, that's why the fire element's important. When you work with the elements, you can tear stuff down and rebuild again. You know, you have this ability to do that. And you could do it quickly, just depending on your focus and intent when you do certain things, you know? Sorry for the long ramble again.
No. I heard today something about somebody was talking, somebody sent me a video, and I was listening to people go on about, their body and how, their body has all, or the doctor was saying something about you have all the ability to, when a bone breaks, the doctor doesn't really fix the bone. He may put a cast on you or do whatever, but your body mends the bone itself. The body heals the wound. You put a bandage on it,
You know, this is so weird, Robert. I broke my pinky toe when I was like a freshman in high school. We were playing crap soccer up in the gymnasium with no shoes on because that's how you played. And me and this girl, we both went to kick at the same time, and we connected feet, and it cracked my pinky my bone in half, and it floated down the side of my foot. So when I went to the doctor and they took the X-ray, he started laughing. He goes, "You see that?" And I was like, "What is that?" He goes, "That's the other half of your toe." I was like, "Oh my God!" I was traumatized. You know, I thought, "Well, what? How are you going to get it out? You know, how are you going to put it back?" And he laughed and he looked at me. He goes, "No, your body's intelligence will bring that bone back to where it belongs in your foot, and it will reattach itself." I was like, "You've got to be kidding me." And snap, it sure did. And it floated down all the way past the knuckle, almost to the side of my foot, at the top of, on the side of the foot, on the pinky part. And it was floating, it was down the side, and it went right back up and attached itself. And that's when I realized bones have some kind of consciousness.
Trina, you know what? I have a video on my channel where it says I broke my wrist and healed it in 4 days. Like, you know,
my daughter had a compound fracture, and it was a 9-month cast with a 7-month rehab schedule, and she was walking in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
She walked in 3 days, but I wouldn't allow her because I couldn't believe what we were seeing. But we did it through a mental hypnosis process and some other things. And she literally put it back together. And she got to compete in her state champion cheerleading thing 7 weeks after she had snapped her leg in half.
Yeah. Wow. You could do this through frequencies. You know what I'm saying? Like certain frequencies heal you. Because I also talked about this in a video where I said, like, science and spirituality should have never been separated. But I always think of this, like my heart, all my organs, right? They're technically metaphysical. I cannot see them. You know what I'm saying? I know they're there. Now, when there's a disease or an ailment, I'm going to feel them. But technically, a healthy body, you shouldn't feel it. You should never feel your body. But your body's talking to you when you have subtle things happening, except we only listen to it when it's already screaming in the manifestation of like diabetes or cancer or whatnot. But let's say, for example, we never had the ability to cut the body open. You know what I'm saying? Let's say we never had the ability to cut a seed open and whatnot. But from a little seed, you can see like the gigantic manifestation of a big oak tree that grows. But I always look at the body and say, like, what if I didn't know what was in me? You know what I'm saying? Of course, we would have to go into that practice based on what we were being fed. That's not organic to the body. We would have to go into the study of actually studying the body. But what if we had the ability, because I actually really tried this very, very hard, but to go in as the CEO of my business, that's why people say mind your business, because this is basically a business and it's a corporate. You are big pharma. And the reason I feel like you can heal from any diseases is because you could produce any elixir in your body. You know what I'm saying? Is the fact that we get stressed out when we're sick, we start producing the unfavorable ones due to fear, like cortisol and stuff like that, which actually suppress your immune system. But if we could go in there and literally surgically repair ourselves, or with intent, go into ourselves somehow, into the universe that we are, because
you can. I've seen people do it, Zig Zag. You literally can. I've seen people correct all kinds of things in their body through their mind.
Like, look, why does astrology exist, right? Like, we look at the planets. If you look at your body, your central nervous system, those are your chakras, right? Your chakras are co-governed by organs. I mean, the organs are co-governed by the chakras, you know what I'm saying? And then the chakras are co-governed by planets. So let's say you got an understanding of how planets work and energies work. You would know certain frequencies of certain planets. You can actually work these frequencies to your advantage to heal yourself. Like, if, let's say, for example, you have the heart. Do you notice how the heart is associated with drums? Drums can, I mean, people think of love when you think of the heart, but drums, you're going to war with it too. Like, whenever you're going into war or battle, you hear the boom, boom, boom. You know, we also look at the clock system, how it ticks. You know what I'm saying? You notice how you can meditate and you slow your heart rate down, but you're actually speeding other things up, right? So that's why it's anti-aging. But when you're stressed out, your heart rate is actually racing, which means you're actually aging faster. You die faster. You know what I'm saying? But when you meditate, that's why they say you live longer. You're kind of slowing your body down, but speeding up time to some extent, where when you come back and exit that time loop, you come back a lot younger.
Yeah. Yeah. I was saying
Yeah.
good night, Grandpa.
Yeah.
I see he's going. He's leaving. Bye, Grandpa.
Yeah.
Hi,
Crystal's leaving, and Grandpa
Hi,
Brian. Yeah, we've been going a long time.
Yes.
How long
I
you
was
been
like,
on?
I think we're getting the cue.
Yeah. I know it's getting
I
later.
love you guys. Yeah.
I was just seeing if Max was going to have a show on tonight. Yep, he's got to go
Yep,
too.
gotta
So
go. Much
yeah,
love.
I know we got to go too. It's been a long thing.
Absolutely.
Zigzag, I tell you, this was really good. I didn't know how it was going to turn out, but we just put it all together. There's Big Al. I'm going to unmute him. There you go. And
It's great.
and this was a great discussion. Everybody go over to Max's channel. He put it, I think he put the thing in there a little while ago. Maybe he'll put it in again, but he's probably going to do some remote viewing. Go participate. It's a lot of fun. You learn a lot doing your brain thing. One of these days I'm going to get those cards so we can do a little bit of that ourselves. You know, maybe we'll get Max back on here and do some flipping cards or something, you know, or something cool. But Zigzag, we got to get you back on and talk more about the vitamins thing. I didn't know you were so into it, and more about the eye thing. You know, maybe that's why these AIs all have these the cameras, and they're all reading your eye movements. You know that? Like even the camera, it can zero in and see the red eye and all that. How good is that camera? Is it looking into you and detecting all that stuff? I mean, you yourself are studying this. But if you could program that all into a computer, it could boom, and it would know everything about you, just like that.
Right. You know, we talk about, and I'm gonna make this short because I know you said we gotta go, but like, you know, we talk about the eye of Ra. That's why when we look at the eye of Ra, I look at like I am Ra. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The moment I open my eyes, I observe my reality. That light goes on. That eye is lighting up my reality, and this is what I can see every day. Now, the perception of the color spectrum that I can see is also based on me. How narrow-minded or how open-minded am I? And here's the thing, there's a reciprocity. When you're open-minded, you can give, but you can receive information. It's kind of like if I have my hand open, I can give information and I can receive something. But if my hand is closed, I'm only holding on to what I know, but I can't give anything. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like when you eat, you expel the poop, but you absorb the nutrients. You know what I'm saying? But in formation, you never want to be blocked. You know what I'm saying? You want to be free flowing. So that's why I'm open-minded to a lot of ideas, a lot of different things. I love doing this, like talking to different people. As I'm talking, it kind of sparks me up with different things. You know what I'm saying? To talk about.
We learn from each other and we help each other remember.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Pass on the knowledge and grow. You know, that's exactly it. Exactly it. Well, by gosh, this was a great show. I tell you, I learned a lot. I tell you, every time I have a show, I swear I learn a lot, and I enjoy it so much. Hey, Big Al, you driving safe, I hope.
Much love, Al. Happy mother trucking, you and Perry.
Yeah. He's talking. Unmute yourself there.
All right.
There you go. Say bye to the crowd.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. There you go. All right. We'll see y'all next time. Same place next week, same time. Hopefully I'll get some extra videos out there. I've been slacking. It's summer because, you know, summer people do other things. So do I. I got a lot of stuff. I'm growing a nice garden. Maybe I'll put up some videos of that. So there you go. I did a big hike today, got really tired out. Beautiful scenery. I'm going to post a video of that sooner or later.
We got to talk about that too, man. We got to talk about gardening because there's a lot to go into in gardening, which is nice.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime you want to come back on, you're welcome to it. The invitation's always open.
Yeah, grateful for everybody in this space and you for, you know, allowing me in here. So I get Trina, thank you, Big Al.
I love you, Zigzag. It's good to see you again, my friend. I was wondering where you were at and if you were going to show up again. So I'm super glad to see you. So thank you for being here.
I'm very grateful. Thank you very much. All right.
Yeah. Absolutely. And with that, everyone, be the frequency you want to receive. Peace, everybody. Love you all.